Agon Chosegan Hishibujodo Shigan Humanzok Seifujo Shogak Gao Muryoko Hu Idai Seishu Hu Sai Shobingu Seifujo Shogak Gashijo Butendo Myosho Chojipo Kukyo Misho Mon Seifujo Shogak Ryokujin Shonen Jo Eishu Bongyo Shigu Mujodo Isho Tenin Shi Jinriki and Daiko Fusho Musaido Shoujo Sankumyo Kosai Shuyakunan Kaihichi Egen Meshi Kon Moan Eisokusho Akudo Sudaten Zen Shumon Kosojo manzo Ioro Jiepo Nichigaten Shujuki Tenko Onfugen Ishu Kai Hozo Kosei Kudoku Ho Yo Dai Shuchu Seppo Shishiku Kuyo Isai Buten Gusoku shu toku hon, ganne shitinjo man, tokui sangai yo, nyobuten muge chi, tsudaten mi husho, kangaku erich, toshi sai sho son, shiganya koka, daisen okando, Kokusho tenin to uchin myoke namandambu 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 Namandambu, Namandambu, Ganishikudoku, Yodo Sei Isai, Dohoden Bodai Ishin Ojo Ara. Namo Amida, Namanda, 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 Namanda.
The Jodo Shinshu Creed. Entrusting the vow of the Buddha and reciting the sacred name, I shall proceed through the journey of life with strength and joy. Revering the light of the Buddha, reflecting upon my imperfect self, I shall strive to live a life of gratitude. Following the teachings of the Buddha, discerning the right path, I shall spread the true Dharma. Rejoicing in the compassion of the Buddha, respecting and aiding one another, I shall do my best to work towards the welfare of society. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Namanda, 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 Namanda. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our virtual service, and thank you for joining us today. Please join me in Gasho for a reading from the collected works of Shinran. If one fulfills all the Mahayana practices, one makes offerings to the Buddhas in accord with the Dharma. If one makes offerings to the Buddhas in accord with the Dharma, the mind of thinking on the Buddhas is immovable. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida. So today a little bit I'll talk about a myokonin, one of the famous myokonin. For those of you who don't know, the Japanese word myokonin literally means a wondrous, excellent person. It's used for when a devout follower of Jodo Shinshu who lives a life of total dedication to Amida and whose acts and sayings, though they may often run counter to common sense, they reveal the depth of faith and true humility and humanity. And sometimes when I'm at the temple, I'm sometimes asked, Sensei, why do you insist on fresh flowers and fresh rice to be placed as offerings before each service in our Naijin? And I'm also sometimes asked, why do we need the flowers and the offerings even though we're doing virtual services? And the reason that is that we want to offer only the freshest and only the best to the Buddha before service. And in doing so, this reminds us that we should always only offer the best of ourselves to all during our regular daily lives as well. There's a Mokyonin story that illustrates this, and it goes like this. It starts out many years ago, there was a man named Kihei in Todami village in the Hiroshima prefecture in Japan. And he was a cattle dealer, and he had a deep faith in the primal vow. He repeated the Nimbutsu without interruption, whether he was walking, standing, sitting, or lying. And when a fellow believer who he knew very well would stay with him, Kihei would wake up several times in the middle of the night. And if the man kind of half woke up and was mumbling something in response, Kihei would say, Amida is not here. He's not here yet. And so in saying that, he would shake the man until he was fully awake. And if the Nimbutsu finally came from his friend's lips, then Kihei he was satisfied. And then he joined him in repeating the Nimbutsu, saying, oh, how happy, Amida is truly here now. One day, his wife was weaving hemp by the fireside with her legs stretched out. Kihei picked up her leg with these tongs, reached over and picked up her legs with the tong, one of her legs rather. And his wife got angry and she says, why are you picking up my leg with those tongs? Kihei just giggled and said, since it was by the fireside, I thought it was firewood. And this made his wife even more furious. She said, how could you mistake my leg for firewood? Kihei said carefully, he said, careful behavior in ordinary times is essential. And he said, this fireside is used to cook the rice that is offered to Amida-sama. If your deeds are not discreet in ordinary times, you may cook the sacred rice with your legs fully stretched and unashamed of your impoliteness. That's why I purposely did that to you. And hearing this, his wife was deeply impressed. But what he was saying is that if she sits in an unseemly manner in front of the fireplace or in front of where the bupanki, or the rice that's being cooked and prepared to go before the Buddha as an offering, then she's she should think about that and try to uh, watch how she sits and acts, even when she's not in front of that fireplace, especially. But later on in Kihei's life, he shaved his head and he received the Buddhist name Kyun, which means teaching gratefulness. And all through his life, he carefully cherished the Dharma and successfully attained birth in the Pure Land. And so, in closing, it's how we think and live our daily lives that will show us how we conduct ourselves. It will show us by how we conduct our lives and ourselves at the temple. So again, in closing, please join me once again for readings from the collected works of Shinran. Join me in Gassho, please. In the power of that Buddha's primal vow, the bodhisattvas throughout 10 quarters also go to Amida's land to make offerings and hear the Dharma. For this reason, I bow my head to Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of your day.